Christina Feliz. We knew that the medical brigades were coming down here, so we thought we would try to get together a dental team and come down here with them. Well, I mean, it's not ideal. Like today, where we're at, we don't have electricity, so we can't run hand pieces. So you know what hand pieces being what people commonly refer to as a drill. You know, so for the most part, that's what's hard. Is again, we want to try to teach these people that we should try to save our teeth. We should try to do everything we should save them. So we don't want to necessarily but just kind of add to that attitude of, oh, just get it out. It's better to get it out. So when we find people who have the start of a cavity or just have a cavity period that isn't so bad that it calls for extraction, it makes it a hard situation for us because basically we have to tell these people, well, you have a cavity, but we can't fix it because we don't have a drill to open it up. There's some cases where I'm able to use just a hand instrument and clean the decay out and pack the filling in there. It's not ideal, but in some cases I think it'll work. But that's difficult. I think that's the most difficult thing. I just saw a young girl who overall does a pretty good job, but you know, she had a cavity, which we all do, and it's hard to tell her. I mean, we pretty much left it at try to find a clinic where you can find a dentist and get this done. And so hopefully she has the means to get there and pay for it and have it done. So I don't know anything that I'm necessarily surprised by. I mean, I think it's always kind of a shocker sometimes to see the condition that people's mouths are in, unfortunately. I don't think it necessarily took me by surprise. You do sometimes expect it. I'm almost more surprised actually by a young girl I saw today who had the most beautiful teeth I've ever seen and took such good care of them, and so that's always kind of definitely a good thing to see. I guess the one thing that surprised me the most too is the attitude towards it. There's not really, even the little ones, they don't necessarily look at trying to save their teeth. They just automatically come in and want them taken out of their mouth because they just simply look at them as being a nuisance, something that causes pain. So I don't think they comprehend the whole prevention side of things. So that's just something that we're trying to teach them, is that, you know, if you use a toothbrush at home, like, you won't really ever need to see a dentist. And so, yeah. Again, like I would say, a lot of it's just the attitude towards their teeth, like, well, just better to get them out. But I mean, overall, there's a pretty rampant decay in most of them, and the hardest thing is when you see it in children. Like, I just got finished with a 9-year-old boy who, you know, still has a lot of his primary teeth that he will lose. So it's one thing to take those out of their mouth, knowing that they'll get still a permanent set in. But I just had to extract a tooth that he's only had in his mouth for 3 years and was already completely bombed out, you know, just done for. So that part's it's just hard to see and deal with, just knowing that, you know, if a tooth could go that far south that quickly, then it's kind of hard. But we try to do everything we can, again, just to teach prevention. We make sure all our patients leave with toothbrushes and toothpaste, and that they know how to use them. I have seen this decay. It's not to say that there's this huge contrast between here and the U.S. A lot of it just depends on the community that you're working with and kind of what level they fall in. socioeconomically. A lot of it comes down to diet too. Most of these people that have severe decay, it's usually because they're just heavy soda drinkers, which is part of the reason you see it more in an underdeveloped country like this, where there is no water for them to drink, because all they drink is soda all day long. They're just bathing, they're taking sugar. So no, it's something that's seen in the US as well, but again, usually it's people with less education and
Change.